Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LG Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we're covering Chasing Atlanta. This is season 7, episode 9. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe, share, and leave your comments below. Now, let's get into this week's episode. Okay, y'all. A lot of stuff went on that we must talk about. We're going to begin where we left off on last week's episode, and it's with Ken sharing his news with Neek that his surrogate miscarried. He's just really expressing himself at this moment, and it is a loss to him. And yes, fathers can feel the loss too. Probably not to the same magnitude, but also it's a loss to the dreams and hopes that you do have. Neek did ask if he could give a hug, or wanted to give a hug, and Ken allowed him to. And he encouraged him, like, look, don't make any decisions now. Just give it more time, and when you're ready, or if you want to still go back to the process, do it again, you know. Ken was worried about bringing that type of energy to the group. Is it ideal? And possibly because of your lack of relationship with them, it may be hard because look, it's only been 2 to 3 months that you really started developing relationships with these people. Do you want to share this type of intimate information and vulnerability with someone or with a group of people? It would be a good way to help you bond with some of the people. I mean, it's your choice if you wanted to actually release that information or not. But if whatever your decision is, so, but that's what Neek's encouragement was. Neek, he is going to be bringing the crew back together. They're going to do an activity of pole dancing. Dr. Twan Dixon, shout out to him. He's currently filming his 2nd season of his show that has been airing on the Chasing Reality platform. Getting to it on the Chasing Reality platform, and I'm ready for season 2. Neek says that he suggested for the lemon squeeze, aka lemon drop or fruit squeeze, to have Dr. Twan. But the consensus was, oh, we grown, we can handle it. For the most part, yeah. Some of it, yeah. But others, yeah, you probably didn't need it though. But anyways, he said, well, this time he's coming because we got to get something together so that we can at least be somewhat stable enough to travel. Neek says that he's through with the whole Nova and Althea situation. Last week, you just suggested and planted this seed that Althea was a gay vulture culture. And now you're done. I'm lost, y'all. I am so lost on him. You just done. You haven't even had the conversation. You said that you were feeling some type of way towards her, Althea. So what happened? Neek says that he has no issue with the group. Okay. They talk about Ken and Tramel. Tramel, well, Neek is kind of interesting to me, and I'll get into that in just a second. Ken is like, well, because Neek was like, well, it looks like there's some type of healing or something, a calm mode for you and Tramel in regards to at the Labor Day park. Ken said that he did extend invitation to everyone, and I think Althea and Tramel didn't come. He says that he spoke to Tramel, and I guess it was just a little, that's the cordial thing. Tramel is not effing with you. When he's done, he's done. But I guess, yeah. So that was it. He's not going to put any more effort really into it. He feels like he has offered an olive branch without talking to him. But he didn't say that. But he was giving off that energy like, I did my part, basically. I was like, that's it? Okay. They talked a little bit about Miami, about having the houses split, house A, house B. And somehow, in the further part of this episode, we get into this like, there's no division. What? Like, there's this gaslighting that nobody really wants to talk about, this division within the group. And people are coming forward and saying, hey, what is this? And don't nobody want to answer. Honestly. Honestly. They don't have enough integrity. Meek, I see you in Nova's corner. You're friends with Tramel. I have yet, this is episode 9, I heard we got 2 more episodes. I have yet to see you speak up for Tramel. It's on the table, y'all. All right, Tony. Tony travels to Australia. She has a booking over there for a ballroom trip, ballroom conference, and I didn't even know ballroom was international. Again, I'm just really getting into this whole ballroom situation. Really, by Beyonce. I only seen like different memes when it was on Pose. I never watched Pose, so I'm out of the dark, out of the loop, and all of that. So, but yeah, she's over there doing her thing. She is doing a workshop, a face workshop, because one of the categories is face, and also going to be a judge of the house. She was able to connect with Ella Gonza Alexander, and Tony said, "Dean, I'm gonna have to learn a lot of the ballroom culture because I really don't know." Tony does say that, you know, even with everything that she does within the ballroom culture and ballroom scene, I mean, and also activism, sometimes she can feel overlooked. But she comes over here and she feels appreciated, and it's just kind of like a relief after really not being recognized as you should. I'm gonna tell you this much: it just seems like international folks can see the worth in a lot of other people than even Americans. I think we're just too familiar and disrespectful and just don't view people as treasures. Or the only time you really want to view someone, icon and all that, because you want to be under their butt or in their butt. Which that could be many things. But it's like, yeah. But congratulations to Tony over there doing it. Oh, I wish Tony was like on Instagram, Facebook, or I'm not on TikTok, but even on there, just kind of documenting her life. Now she's on a reality show, so she can do that. But maybe in the future, I don't know if you would ever do some vlogging and all of that. That would be cool. A day in your culture. So now it's the pool dancing day. We are at the Milan Method studio with Jasmine. Dom has invited Gigi. Gigi is a stripper, and it's an exercise to kind of get the guys and women a little bit more relaxed and just to let your hair down a little bit. Dr. Twan comes. He's got on this shirt. Bitch, I am the NDA. I need to ask him about that. Just to find out, okay, well, I am the NDA, the non-disclosure. What's the A part? I am that. I think I am too. But anyway, Twan and Q, they talk just for a brief few moments, little catch up, and there's an appointment set for Q and Twan to meet. Dr. Twan also meets with Althea just to catch up a little bit and want to see if she wants to set up some time to talk a little bit. She's like, yeah. In her confessional, she's like, I don't know what Dr. Twan's agenda is, but please don't try to merge anything between me and Nova. That's not where she's at. Now, they get into the pole dancing. You got Sammy. He's the greatest climber. I think he's got a lot of upper body strength, which is good. That's something that I'm going to be working on towards the end of spring and fall for myself. I do a little weight training. If you've seen one of my last videos, it's kind of a life update as to what was going on with me. It's called Saving Myself. It's on my channel. Yeah, just look for Saving Myself. I've been managing my diet and losing weight, and soon I'm going to be doing a lot more weight training. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, he got a lot of upper body strength. I'm like, okay, cool, go ahead and get it. Looks like he climbs a lot of stuff. Nah. And then you got Q just cutting it up. He was working that pole. Yes, he's a twerker. I said, go ahead, Q. Nova, she arrives. She said that she was intentionally late. She was intentionally late because she knew the type of activity that they were going to be doing, and she just didn't want to deal with the ramifications of people noticing her moose knuckles, meaning she ain't snipped nothing down there. But we sitting up here being offended over a yeast infection. That ain't coming up out of there, as far as I know. You know. Okay. So now that everyone's kind of just danced, now Dr. Twan wants to meet with the group. How is everybody doing? Noelle speaks up first and says that, you know, some of us are doing better and other things not so well right now. Jamel brings up, after Noelle is done speaking, regarding the divide in the group. Now everybody's on mute. He's speaking about that there is an obvious divide where it's like him, Althea are on one side. You have people that are in the middle, like Noelle, Tony. Did I write down someone else? Noelle, Tony, are right there in the middle, and the rest of y'all are over there. Now, everybody's on mute. Except for Ken, that wants to now rewrite history. A revisionist historian says that, well, it's really you, Tramel. You're the one that's divided from the group. You have, what did he say? I'll just say you exited yourself from the group, so it's all on you. Let's start back at A, sir, Ken. Oh my God, there's a lot of gaslighting. There's a lot of gaslighting, y'all. I don't like that. Again, I could really deal with you if you were straight up. Now, I want to agree with you. I need to know why, but you don't really have any reason why, besides the reasons that I said before. Althea says that Althea was talking about, you know, the way that she feels and how things are going and how people have kind of like seem to have taken sides. And, you know, that's your girl. Talking about Nova. Dominique said, "You're my girl too." And I'm like, wait a minute. What about gay culture vulture? What about Althea? You need to make a decision because you look uncomfortable, even though so many examples of that not really being true. Or as far as her doing things to try to make her comfortable, and she's using these crutches and all that good stuff. So, but for you to sit there, I mean, you've been doing it since what, episode 2? I don't like it. I can't respect it. Maybe there's going to be some type of reveal when we get to the reunion, but right now, no, you are fake. According to what you're showing on this show, you are fake. I think Althea said, I don't have an issue. Oh, I think it was Dominique said, I don't have an issue with you. I could stay in the same place with you. I don't get it. Y'all tell me, because I don't get it. Oh, Tramel ejected himself. That's what Ken said. The division is only on you guys. Y'all caused the division. All because they went and said what's going on in the chat that y'all not really saying to these folks' face, that y'all still not saying, even if y'all meet someplace and do something else. Y'all are mad because someone is holding you accountable for what you're doing and what you're not doing. We know who got the problem. Althea says that she don't feel excluded from anybody. I find that strange too, Althea, because it was just brought up to you on last week that some of the people don't feel comfortable with a cisgendered woman on this platform. Why didn't we address this? I guess we gotta wait to the reunion, and I just have this fear that people are just not going to be totally integral and transparent during this reunion. I think I'll be entertained, but are we gonna get anywhere with certain issues? No, I don't think so. I really don't. Q expresses himself as to what he feels, or he thinks that where there is a divide with Althea is that email. The email included some people, as you said, that was in your corner, and then some people felt excluded, and people are like, well, dang, is that how she feels? Althea says that, look, it's nothing about you guys. I need a space. First and foremost, we started hearing about it last week. I quit my job to be on this platform. And then y'all just surprised me with all of this crap. Y'all pulled something on me, i.e. Nova. I felt set up. I don't know if the production's trying to really F with me or what. I'm seeing some of y'all navigate towards this person and that person. It's just like, especially when I feel like I'm wrong, I've been wronged. Ooh, excuse me. I've been wrong. And it's like y'all still gravitating towards her. Y'all still inviting her out. Y'all doing all this stuff. But she said, you know, I'm trying to figure out if I should stay on this platform. Not because I'm uncomfortable in that regard. That's what she's saying. Really, do I need to go get another job? It's so many words. She didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Althea's asking her, Nova, are you still transitioning? And of course, everybody grabbed their faces and all that. There had to have been something that was said beforehand. And we do know it has something to do with parenting and all that, which is interesting. Which is interesting that you would do that to her. She's like, anything that Althea has shared, you have thrown back up in her face. And nobody's done that to you. Now, Althea is now doing it because of how low, like nobody comes for you at all, Nova. It's so weird. Anyways, let's see. Dr. Twan tries to get some calmness and relatability and some rationality within all of this. He's like, you're a black woman and you're a black woman. And then Nova says, I'm Puerto Rican. So during the lemon squeeze, when you used Redbone, I already knew what you were doing. A Puerto Rican who dares to be microaggressive towards a dark-skinned woman, dark-skinned chocolate woman. And nobody's got nothing for her. Nova, to this day, I'm not going to give you what I think you deserve. And I don't think that it's even worth it. I don't know why. It seems like they're just skating around you and just allowing you to run. There's nothing to root for. And you've shown nothing. People, again, to me, are like, protect trans woman. Let's protect the trans girl. And it's kind of this, it seems like. It really seems like it's a more sympathy. You can come hang with us. That's what it seems like. Let's see. So then at that point, Nova and Dr. Twan, they go outside. He's talking a little bit, trying to get her to understand, or let's see if you can attack in a different way. You can shade all day, Nova's like, no. She tried my trans, and it's F you. It's been many episodes where she has tried to make amends with you, and now it's just like, F you, Nova. You've been the one that's been difficult in this whole situation. All because of your hatred of cisgendered women. And you want her off the platform. Anyways, Dr. Twan asked Nova, what do you feel you need? Really nothing. Nova says, anybody that comes for me in that way, I really feel like there's no coming back. Why do you think Althea should want to come back? To you, after what you did to her. Nova says that, I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt, but at the lemon squeeze, she was acting like she was bigger than the program. Nobody confirms that. However, Dominique says that he felt the way about, I'm confused on that too, because we're not getting clear answers and clear reasons. Althea comes out. Dr. Twan says, and also Dominique. Oh, wait, but before we go there, the benefit of, she came in just too superior and too big for the program. You're jealous. You're territorial, and you want her out of your territory. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Dr. Twan says, look, about the parenting skills, let's just leave that alone. It's a low blow attack. She's still got a small child. And about like 3 or 4, maybe 5. I don't know exactly his age. You're learning. And parents are learning, forever learning. For real. But you're not even a parent. So how are you going to talk about somebody else's parenting? Dr. Twan breaks down a little bit. He tears up in regards to, my mom just did not have great parenting skills. Just don't talk about that. And I'm sure that you probably could attest to some of the things that your parents did. In our confessional, look, Nova's got guard up. It's a wall and it's stone. Or steel, I'll say that much. And she says, my mama didn't treat me right. There we go. One thing. That's one thing. But trying to peel back the layers of Ms. Nova, it's not going to be an easy thing. She's going to therapy. I'm going to leave that alone. Althea comes out along with Dom, or Neek. Dr. Twan asks, what do you need Althea to stop doing? And then the same question is asked to Althea about Nova. First, Nova didn't want to play along with it, but then she ended up saying, stop bringing up my transition. But you made it a part of a story by today about your man knuckles, or what is it, bull knuckles, moose knuckles. Oh, you don't want nobody to tell your story like you did her. Althea says, stop saying my name. Stop addressing me, and Nova walks off. And I was like, no problem. Walks off. And then she stands at the door and walks back over and says, I hate your name. I'm sorry, that was funny because you don't even have no type of reads. I hate your name. Your name is so annoying. And then she walks back in there, and Dom says, look, I'll handle things on my end, on the front end. You good? Cool. How are you going to handle things, Dom? You are fake as hell. You are fake. Sammy. Okay, is it time? Oh. Sammy says, the difficulty is what's going on in this group right now, or at least between you two, is that we got to come to a place of hearing each other and not hearing each other. And maybe just come to a place of, look, I did this to you, you did this to me, we don't F with each other, and just not speak. Well, then Q wants to bring himself into the conversation. He disagrees. And he was going in on Nova, not in it wasn't a soft, gentle way, but it wasn't like, But anyways, he was like, you got to do what's right for this platform. A lot of women are going to be watching this, and the stuff that's come out of your mouth, they are going to be offended. Nova don't give a... So at this point, Tramel was like, you can't make everybody do what you want them to do. Q gets offended right away. And they start going back to back. And I'm like, wait, Q, back up. You're mad at Tramel because he had a point of view? Because you try to get something across that is totally a 180 from what you said just 2 weeks ago? You said, let's stop with all this fake kumbaya. All this fake reality stuff that don't work. She said she don't like fish. It's over. Done. You made a point to Nova, and you let them know that, hey, this is going to look bad later on. The opposite is not going to be in your favor. Cool. You did it. And you let them know. But it's just a total shift. And then now, Tramel is saying what you said just 2 weeks ago, but in a lot more calmer way. So then you start going back and forth with him, and Tramel was up for the ish. And he was just giving it right back to you. And I'm like, well, where's all this hostility and always being upset? Why is that? What is that? Now, I will say this, Q, that it does seem like a lot of people just kind of like, forget what you're talking about. I do get that. And maybe that's where that's coming from, like, don't shut me up. But you did do a 180. And at least you could have prefaced, like, look, I said this, I still mean it. However, I think we got to start turning this around. This is going to be on air pretty soon. And you are going to look a mess. You should have prefaced something, because now people are looking at you crazy. However, you still can't make these people like each other. You didn't hire these folks. And whether the hiring team knew exactly who they were dealing with, I don't know. But I don't know. But there is no reasoning with a Scorpio. Once a Scorpio has made up their mind, it's like that. Or if it does happen, it's going to take a while for them to actually come back around and think something different. Maybe by this reunion, but I think that you'll probably lose a lot of people. You've already lost a lot of people. You're not rootable whatsoever. You want to be the victim. You want to start ish. So Q, I don't know why you thought you were going to change your mind. And I don't think that she respects you enough to even hear that type of change in the script as far as how she's been flowing. I'm going to say something shady and somebody about to catch a stray. But it was just sounding like binge-worthy. I heard you guys are cool friends, something like that. I'm like, is this coming out of you or coming from another person? Because I think already binge-worthy, according to his expose of exposing Chasing Reality and Chasing Atlanta, his experience, I don't think he had a problem per se, a beef, but he did not like what Nova was representing and what it's going to come across on camera. So it sounds like that. Now, for you to have this type of anger, I need to know where it comes from. Because it feels like you are just piggybacking off of someone else's energy, i.e. Ken. Y'all say that Carl and Tramel are twins. I'm starting to see that there is some twin activity, some twin activation, Wonder Twins between you and Ken. Q. That was nothing to fight over. However, I do need to know where the anger is coming from. Is this from you just exchanging energy from Ken? Or are you just tired of people just kind of like dismissing you? That's cool, but you got to the place because you just really wanted to talk smack. You threatened him to smack him. It wasn't even that deep. He called you Malcolm X. It wasn't even that deep. But you're ready to slap him. And you're also wanting to go to jail. I said, wait a minute now. Wait. You just had a traumatic experience and you ready to really go back? I know you was talking shit. I think you will fight. But stop. Stop. That was crazy. But you sounded like Ken. And people on this cast are really telling on themselves because they keep talking about these secret chats. Because all I'm hearing out of some of y'all is language and the culture of whatever's going on in these text chats, in these group chats that are separate from the cast. Y'all can hide, but what doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. All right, let's see what else can we do. All you're doing is creating further division. You got that from Ken. You got that from Ken, and I don't like that. I can't respect that. Now, actually, I love you, Q, but something in the buttermilk's not clean. You went right to division because you know that there's a plot to get these folks off the show. Malcolm X got you saying divisions. No. Dom ends up trying to just calm things down. He says, you know, what is it? Oh, they talk about the conversation outside. Since Q wants to push off this kumbaya, my lord, now, or look, you gotta get it together. Fake it till you make it. Fake it or never make it, but fake it at this point. Look, the conversation outside, it is, look, it's making everyone uncomfortable. Now, to me, I took that as you're working on something, you're cooking on something towards Althea. It's uncomfortable for everyone, and it's even more uncomfortable for Althea at this point. So obviously, you are wanting some type of conclusion. Somebody's gonna have to part ways. Nobody's your girl, so you know who you want to go. Even though I don't have no problem with her. Okay, so now we're moving on to Carl. I think I took way too much time in this segment. Carl, he is recording a remix to his song Twerk Shit. One of his rapper friends, Marley J. Marley J was on Chasing Orlando. I didn't know anything about him until he was on Chasing Orlando on season 1. Shout out to Chasing Orlando. I'm still praying that it does come back because we need season 3. That's all I got to say. Anyways, he's going to be on the remix. Jamel comes and also Nova. I believe Carl wants a chance to get to know Nova because we don't really get a chance outside of filming with the group. So that's why he allowed Nova to come. And also, Nova's never done anything to Carl. They talk about the divide. Well, Jamel talks about the clash that happened. And he said, well, before the clash happened, he talked about the divide. There is the Fab Six over here, and the rest of us is over here. Then Jamel talks about Q. And said that Q said, I'm ready to go back to jail. Q, choose your words better. Choose, please. Carl feels like Althea's email is why we're having such a big divide. But he also says that nobody's really getting to the source as to why people are into it. They're not, because there's somebody that's orchestrating all of this. There's a puppet master in this whole thing. Jamel feels like that it's Ken. I don't think he's the CEO of it. I feel this way. I could be wrong about this. I feel like the root of all this is Dom. I do think that Ken was the one that just was willing to get on the front lines and get it popping. Q was following up right behind him. Q specifically said Carl and Jamel, even about the whole divide thing. I'm not crazy. And I'm just going to keep on saying it until something else manifests itself, but it's not. It is what it is. The DM I got, it wasn't really anything, but it was just an indicator, not just people on the show, but people outside of the show that are connected to people in the show don't want Carl and Jamel on. Now, I do know a lot of commentators said, what are they doing on the show? I do know that, but no, there's some other folks that don't want them on this show. I know that to be a fact. The DM I got, nobody spilled any tea. But what this person said was just an indicator. There's a big plot to get them off the show. I don't think y'all won. I don't think you're gonna get your way. But anyways, Jamel, he plays a song. He has a country song now, and it's called "Long Dark Road." Jamel really pours out his feelings in his music. If you haven't, it's just like his place to really express himself. From what I'm picking up from him, he said it's a song about someone who has been supportive to him, or the ones that have been supportive to him are no longer there. It was a dedication to one of his cousins that just passed away, and he was such a good support to him. And now there's a void there that used to be there, that used to be filled. You know, he does begin to cry, or at least hold his face. But you know, hey, Nova does hug him. Then we move on. We move on to Sammy. Sammy meets with his cousin Demi. Sammy just is expressing himself as an update of his position in the family. He doesn't think that he's the black sheep of the family, but the oddball in the family. Meaning they kind of, from what I'm picking up, they keep him at arm's length. They don't accept him fully. And to me, they're doing the right thing. Like, you're my son, I love you. You're my bro, I love you. But I don't really accept what you're doing as far as your lifestyle, as far as the music thing and the way that you want to do it. So they keep him, you know, in a way, kind of like a church hug, kind of like that. It's like you're doing your duty to love the person and not excommunicate them. But is that harder though? Because I gotta stare you in the face every time I'm around you and know that you don't really love me to the full capacity that I should be loved. And some people allow it. You tolerate me. You don't value me. I understand that feeling. And I do want to ask Sammy, are you a preacher's kid? That would kind of track and connect, because are you a preacher's kid? Because you know, some preachers, pastors, they won't kick you out. But you know, son, daughter, that's a sin. But they'll just keep you around, and then they're still trying to win you back or win your soul back and all of that. But you know that they don't really get down with your lifestyle. My heart goes out to Sammy. I understand that. My mother, she was a preacher. I don't even know if she is preaching anymore. But I have not spoken to her in 8 years. Going on 9. Yeah. So I get it. He goes on to talk about his grandmother, but they talk about getting married. He doesn't know if he's going to really get the wedding that he wants, or kind of desires, because of how things are going with the government. You know, there's just a lot of ways that you can do it right now. Even if you just want to go to the courthouse right now, you just don't know what's going to happen. But if you're ready to get married, go on and do the marriage thing and just go to the courthouse. But yeah, anyways, he talks about his grandmother who passed away, and he had such a great connection with her. He got her. Oh no, she got him. Like, as far as I understand you, baby. He said he never told her about his life as far as being gay. However, she was always remaining non-judgmental towards him. And she could see him for who he is. So it's kind of like that head nod thing of, okay, we don't have to really address that you're gay. Grandson, you my baby and I love you. I see what I see, but look, you don't even have to tell me, because I still love you. And that's the type of energy, and that's how he was expressing himself about his grandmother. Thank God for grandmothers. Thank God for grandmothers. But she has passed away. She had cancer. I believe that it was a surprise. She didn't know. I don't know how long she stayed on earth after the diagnosis. A lot of times, as soon as you announce the diagnosis, all of a sudden, just your body just give out. It's crazy, though. And how rapidly your body can decline once you have knowledge of it. And I think it more has to do with your mind, and when your mind is now aligned itself to with your spirit and soul, more your soul, when it aligns with your soul. But anyways, but yeah, if it is in that way, I definitely understand you saying my prayers are with you, my love is with you. I pray that God restores what you are missing, or fills where the void is at. Also in Tramel too. Let's see. Ooh, where we at? Okay, Carl. Carl is doing a video shoot for a song. I don't even know if I wrote it down. But Jamar, who's also a producer on this show, I know him from the Chasing panel and also doing interviews with Scotty by Nature on YouTube. And Miss JT. I've just recently started knowing who she is off of The Scene ATL and Stylish TV. Y'all better go over to those channels. But she's a creative director, and Carl is using JT as a creative director for the video shoot. It's a tribute to the ones that Carl has lost. The main character, Jamar, and Jamar sounds so good. He sounds so good. I'd heard him on the song, which I think is on Chanel's record. I was like, I gotta really get into Jamar. He is phenomenal. Y'all better get into him. But anyways, he's singing the lead. And he's also being the representative of Carl's mom. His mom passed away in 2019. Someone he was dating at the time passed away in 2020. His aunt and his grandmother passed away. All of these important people ended up leaving the earth. The album was supposed to be done in like 2022, and then his other friend, Danita, ended up passing away, who was also a manager. By 2023, he shelved it. He just, it was enough of people leaving his life. I understand that. My sister passed away in 2015. Car accident, from what we've been told, she died on impact. Then 2 years later, I lost my dad. He was in the hospital for pneumonia and checking out. And before he was released, he was gone. Later on that night, into the morning, I lost my brother. It was a lot. It was a lot. And it's a lot to come out of. and through God. It wasn't just me. To pull yourself up out of that type of grief and trauma. It was a lot. But anyways, Carl does break down a little bit. He sheds tears. He's not a crier, but certain folk can get him to cry. But the song sounds really good. The album is coming forth pretty soon. I don't know when the release date is and all that, but hey. Yeah, so I feel you, Carl. And I did have some tears when I was seeing that scene again. Okay, so Dominique, he has now opened up a business it's called Brushing and Combing 101, basically training different pet owners at how to take care of their dogs. He's a dog groomer, and it's good to step out into your own. It's one thing to work for someone else. Step out into your own. You got a passion and gift. Now, everybody isn't an entrepreneur per se, or don't feel like they're king for that, and that's cool. We respect that. But sometimes step out into your own and do what they do, and make it work for you. I'll just say it in that way. So, who showed up? Nova and Carl. I think Carl brought his boyfriend too. So after the class, they talk about Miami. And Carl starts touching on this whole divide. What is with this whole House A and House B? Da-da-da-da-da. All Dom would say, or Neek, he would say, is, well, I don't think all of us want to be waking up in front of each other, like don't want to see each other's faces when we're waking up in the morning. Anyways, Carl said, look, there's a lot that we got to discuss when we get to Miami. Neek keeps saying that he has no problems with no one. Go to full Neek, episode 8. Q meets with Dr. Twan. And Twan's asking, how are you feeling right now? Q says that he's feeling exhausted, trying to maintain what he's doing. I think he was talking about the show, for real. And having to really exert himself in a way. I think he was. But he talks about the whole jail experience as to what even got him to this place. Him and one of his best friends that he lived with they got into it. After Q had a boyfriend, fell in love. However, the friend just did not like this boyfriend. Long story short, she ended up kicking him out. Things went on as far as, getting some speeding tickets and things of that nature that he didn't have knowledge of because all registered mail was going to that home. Anyways, he was getting warrants for his arrest and all that stuff. He ended up going to jail at some point, but he got out. He didn't know that he was on a type of probation, which means that you need to show up every week, report in weekly, physically, to avoid being in jail. Well, he didn't. And he ended up, he was flying to go overseas. That's when they found out that there was a warrant, and they brought him in. I don't think he talked about the whole jail experience and all that, but then Twan wanted to talk about him and Tramell. Like, it really said it's not that deep, but he was hesitant about it, and that just lets me know. I feel like you are influenced by the people that you're hanging around within this group. Hopefully, you're honest about it, and now you're getting in on a plot to try to get them out of here. I think that's crazy, because even what they're fighting over don't even make sense. Now seeing all the shade that Q was throwing in his after show doesn't even make sense to me. But I haven't seen the last 2 episodes. They're going to Miami, so maybe something more happened. But even the genesis of this whole thing, it wasn't much at all. They could have squashed it, just like the whole Ken thing. They are running on gas fumes, making up stories to cause conflict, to get people out. And I think that is just so wrong. It's wrong, though. And I'm standing on where I'm at. Y'all could gaslight and not say nothing. But some of y'all guilty by association. And some of y'all are volunteering because of association. Can't wait till this reunion. I just don't know who's going to be truthful. But anyways, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Oh, I talk too much. I'm a little bit under the weather, so please forgive me for me being long-winded in this whole situation. Please like this video. You can share it. Give me your thoughts. Like it. All that good stuff. Anyways, I'm gone. Until the next one. Peace.